Right, so suppose we have the following situation. So there's a bacon producer, a firm that produces bacon, right? And it's a perfectly competitive firm. And it turns out that the price of bacon is $8. And since this is a perfectly competitive firm, that means that the firm can't do anything to change the price of bacon, right? It's just going to have to deal with that being the price. So the price of bacon is $8, and the firm has fixed costs of $8, right? So it'll have to pay that fixed cost no matter what quantity of bacon it produces, right? And we have this table here where it tells us, given how much bacon we produce, if we produce some of these quantities, 1, 2, 3, or 4 pounds, then the total costs will be here, right? 13, 18, 23, or 32, right? So remember, for perfectly competitive firms, uh, you want to choose the quantity of production where the marginal revenue equals marginal cost, or if there's not something, if there's not a quantity where that happens, you want to produce up to the greatest quantity where marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, right? So remember, those are our rules. So looking at this, we know that our marginal revenue is the same as the price, right? So marginal revenue equals the price, and the price is 8. So we're not given the marginal cost, but we could easily figure those out, right? So the marginal cost of the first pound of bacon, since there's a fixed cost of $8 and the total cost when you produce 1 pound of bacon is 13, that must mean that the marginal cost of that first pound of bacon was $5, right? Because your cost at 0 would have been 8, your fixed cost, and then going up to 1 pound of bacon, the total cost goes up by 13. So that means that the marginal cost of the first pound of bacon must have been $5. So we'll just add this column here where we're keeping track of the marginal cost. So we want to ask ourselves, okay, well, does it make sense for this firm to produce that first pound of bacon? Well, they can produce it for essentially five extra dollars, right? That's the marginal cost of producing that first pound of bacon. And they could sell it for 8, so they would be increasing their profit by $3 by doing that. Notice also that the marginal cost of the second pound of bacon is also 5, so it makes sense to produce that second pound of bacon as well. And then the marginal cost of the third pound of bacon is also 5, right? And then all of a sudden for the fourth pound of bacon, the marginal cost goes up to 9, right? So it would make sense to produce the first 3 pounds of bacon, but then notice that if you actually produce the fourth pound of bacon, the marginal cost is $9, but you can only sell that pound of bacon for $8. So that means that producing your fourth pound of bacon would actually make your profits drop by $1, right? So that means that the optimal quantity should be 3, right? The optimal quantity would be 3. They would actually maximize their profits by choosing a quantity of 3. Now, there's actually another way of doing this, and that's just to calculate the profits of the different quantities. We can actually do that because we know that profit is going to be price times quantity, right? Revenue minus total cost. And we have prices, right? We know what the price is. The price is 8, and we vary the quantity. So we can figure out the revenues of the various quantities and also subtract off the total cost, and that gives us profit, right? So let's go ahead and do that just to check our answer and make sure that this quantity of 3 is actually the optimal quantity, right? So let's just see what the profits are for these different quantities and make sure that they're highest at that quantity of 3. So the profit when you produce 1, well, your revenue will be 1 times 8, and then subtract off the $13 of total cost. So the profit would actually be negative $5, right? Be losing a little bit of money. At a quantity of 2, the revenue would be 2 times 8, which would be 16, and then you want to subtract off the total cost minus the 18, so the profit would drop, would increase to negative $2, so you're still losing money. And then at the third pound of bacon, well, your revenue would be 3 times 8, which is 24, minus 23, right? Subtracting off the total cost from the revenue, and so we get $1 worth of revenue. And notice, okay, so we're in the positive territory when we, in terms of our profit when we produce our third pound of bacon. But then moving on up to the fourth pound of bacon, notice that the revenue is 4 times 8, which is 32, which matches exactly our total cost. So subtracting total cost from revenue gives us a profit of $0. Notice that profit drops by $1, just like we thought it would by producing that fourth pound of bacon, where we lose $1 by producing that fourth pound of bacon. So profit goes down to 0. So indeed, it looks like profit is maximized by producing the third pound of bacon, by producing 3 pounds of bacon and not going beyond that and producing a fourth pound of bacon. All right. So we saw 2 ways of doing it, and they both match each other, so we can be pretty confident in our answer. All right. Thank you very much for watching.